I have decided to do a coffee fast. I'm not going to be handling coffee for the next month. I've gotten too dependent on it, so it's going to be water. So you're going to see water in all of these videos. My friend Terry was born blind, and I have said to her before, in years past, I've said, well, it must be tough to be blind. And she always got a giggle out of that because she thought to herself, what does it mean to think that it's tough to be born blind? And I was surprised in the scope of our conversations to hear her say things like she could see things. And I don't mean abstractions like points, and I mean actual things. She can be walking along and see a mailbox, not physically, but the same way a bat has sonar. As you speak, some of the sound bounces back based on what is being blocked in front of you. She's actually able to visualize where something is, not to the same degree that you and I can, but nonetheless, she has a level of perception. So she can walk to the bedroom, to the bathroom, living room. She even has a way of cleaning and knowing if something, based on smell, if something is dirty or has something on it. But of course, for those of us who were born with sight, we don't have that same sense because we look on someone else in a different situation and we assume the worst. We say to ourselves, that must be terrible. But the reason for this video, perspective on adversity, is precisely because of the assumptions we make on others. That's what really creates our suffering. We assume that others have it bad. When we look at someone else, we say, how do they manage? But that's a matter of perspective. Some of you guys, you have lives that are like a bag caught in an updraft. So it's like going down the road and you see that one little bag that gets caught and gets blown out in front of you, and then you whip past it and it goes whoosh, and it just kind of floats up in the air, and you see the car behind it hit it or nearly hit it, and it just goes flipping around. You do that in your perspective because you say to yourself, how bad can my life be? How poor can I be? How unfortunate can I be? What more health problems will I expect? How will my kids and my mother and my family disappoint me? And it'll always be some sad story, one story after another. But you don't realize it's all a matter of perspective, because you're living the life now that somebody else would kill to live. Somebody else would do everything in the world to be in a country with water, with running clean water. And yet you can only sit there and think of the fact that maybe you can't do splits, maybe you can't bench as much as any of the kids in your school. It's funny the things that people message me about as being problems that are not traditionally related. But this is our problem. Our problem is one of perspective. Terry wasn't disabled because she didn't wake up and say, wow, if only I could see. She even told me that if she could choose to see now, she wouldn't anymore. She used to have her friends tell her when she was little, if only you could see a sunset. And she says, well, guess I can't, but it is what it is. Nobody understood that. But as I've gone through life, I understand that a lot more. And it's the same thing for your struggle now. Whatever it is you're going through, your perspective on adversity is what makes it adversity. Ultimately, you choose to be offended. You choose to be angered. You choose to be stressed. You choose to help somebody move and put yourself in a position where, you're overworked and you're hungrier than you would be. You choose to do all of those things, but it's hard to see it that way. You choose to have stress. You choose to, now sometimes a battle's worth fighting. So if the greater good is there, if there is a principle that you're fighting for, there's a time to fight. But there are other times when it's not worth fighting. So you choose to be hungry. You choose to have all of the struggles that you face, if you choose to see them that way. And if you choose to say, empty is the new full, I can have what I want, just not now. and all the things we've talked about on this channel. That ability is what separates you from that draft, that bag caught in the updraft that we started talking about on the road, and that I've characterized some of your lives as being. You determine to allow all of your circumstances to define you, some of you. You really and truly do. You allow any circumstance. If someone starts out the morning and doesn't say hi to you, if someone says something negative to you, if someone says something, oh, you look fat, and yet you've been trying to lose weight, you've always got some line of reasoning to allow yourself to be a victim. And I have so many comments on this channel, and some sent by email, on my site, where people say, well, here's the reasons that I have to react this way. And every time I look at them, I say to myself, wow, this person is truly in prison, a prison of their mind. They're in a prison of feeling like they're obligated to feel this way because someone did something. You're not, any more than you're obligated to eat donuts because somebody brings them to work. Some of you guys, you're just in so many predicaments that don't need to be predicaments, because you choose to see it as being a question of you versus the world. You choose to see yourself as being against hunger, when hunger is you. Hunger's part of you. But if you don't call it hunger, it's not hunger. If you decide to say, oh, this is how we feel, the same way you feel a certain way when you go to the bathroom, when you take a shower, you just accept that that's part of your life. That's what allows you to live your life without stressing about things you already know are not a problem. Well, I'm in favor about adding a whole bunch of things more to that list. You don't face very many problems. Nobody in America really does. You just don't. And if you decide how you're going to look at something is as an asset instead of something destructive, you change your perspective. Okay, have a good day.